like a concentrated bottle, and the dilution ratios are crazy. And in the ADR, it's safe to use even around birds, which birds are they're so sensitive. Terry was afraid to use it, but when I got that book, I was like, yep, you can clean the cage with it, it's fine. So, but here's the dilution, and the dilution is like 2 capfuls in a bottle of this, or 1 capful. I mean, it's different dilutions depending on what you want to clean, but it's crazy, and it cleans up cat vomit really well. So,
good side note.
yes, yes, I know.
And like 10 bottles of it.
Right.
It's funny.
The Thieves was created and named after research was done on a group of 15th century thieves who rubbed a combination of oils on themselves to avoid contracting the plague while they robbed dead bodies. So 1 in every 2 people contracted the plague and died within 24 hours. When they were caught, these thieves, who were actually perfumers and spice traders, disclosed their formula of herbs, spices, and oils. And they gave up their recipe in exchange for a lighter summons. And one of the most important findings of the more than 20 case studies that have been completed by this researcher is that diffusing the essential oil blend not only destroys mold spores, but also removes mold spores, dead and alive, from the air. And it's just amazing in what it can do. I'm a huge believer in it. I put it on my feet every night, like if I'm going to go to work the next day, because that's where I'm exposed to the most noxious things. I mean, people hand me pieces of paper that are covered in germs all the time, and then they cough on me. And I can tell you that naturally, last year I used essential oils minimally, and I was using other natural products. But last year, through cold and flu season, and this year through cold and flu season, I am last man standing at the pharmacy every time. So, but everybody else gets sick. Young Living has a whole line of these products: oral care, hand wash, cleaner. They have, your kids can drink it if it were to happen. I don't think they'd have anything other than maybe, they wouldn't want to drink it anyway because it would burn their mouth, but
Right.
they could if they had to.
Yeah, sure, certainly wouldn't want her to.
So the other thing I was going to share is I use these inner defense. This is I buy these, and it has thieves in it, but it also has oregano, thyme, and lemongrass, which are hugely potent. And these are capsules, and they're already pre-made in capsule form. And how you know your body, and you're kind of on the cusp of something, and you feel like it's either going to go one way or the other. When I feel that way, I start taking these, and I'll take them for just a few days, and then as soon as I don't have any of that feeling anymore, I'm done, and that's it. But I will always have these.
What are they called?
It's called Inner Defense, and they run about $22 a bottle.
I'm not sure on the price on those, but they make it really easy to stick in a bag and take with you.
As opposed to making your own capsules.
Yeah.
But I will never ever not have these in my house.
Yeah.
So if y'all ever need some, you can say, "Hey, do you still have a bottle?" I will probably be like, "Yeah, I've got 8."
I know, I stick it in Clark's.
Yeah, well, and we do use colloidal silver,
Yeah.
which is not a Young Living product, but sometimes I go in that direction too. And I actually haven't used the colloidal silver since we kind of migrated to the oils thing. But I keep that on hand too, so it's a good product to have.
Yeah.
So the inner defense is not something you would take a maintenance dose of all the time?
I wouldn't think.
If you felt the need to, you could. There was a while when the flu was just everywhere.
Yeah.
And at work, it was just like, I mean, I had it behind the counter, I had it in front of the counter, I mean, it was just everywhere. And I was taking those every day on top of the thieves on the bottom of the foot, just for me, because I mean, it was like I was, I mean, it was everywhere.
Liz, and you were talking about probiotics earlier. I take one that's called Lacto Prime, and you actually keep it in the fridge, and it does cost a little bit more. But other than some allergy issues, I'm going on 2 years with no head cold, no flu,
I'm
no
not kidding.
sinus,
It's
and
important.
I'm shaking hands
Yes.
with people all day long. Everybody, and I'm like you. I've been last man standing the last 2 years. Even when Scott got sick,
Yeah.
and you know he's coughing and hacking and everything everywhere, and I still didn't pick it up. So
It's,
huge
I mean,
difference.
that, to me, it's like the healthy living testimony. It starts to stand out, and people start to take notice of, why are you never sick? Charlie's never sick at work, and he's got the same problem. Everybody's always sick at work there too. But it's and you think, oh, that's kind of expensive, but then if you look at prescription.
Think about missing work for a few days.
Right, exactly. But the other thing too that I found is when people go to the doctor, they go to the doctor when they're actually sick. If they went to the doctor and they said, I'm kind of feeling a little puny and I think I might be getting something, they probably wouldn't even get a prescription. Anyway, not that they would want a prescription, but they wouldn't do that. And so why would you want to get to full escalation when you feel it and you nip it in the bud and it's over?
Yeah.
And that I don't understand, because I see that all the time. I mean, people just, it goes full blown and then they have to go to the doctor. And then the whole antibiotic cycle starts again, and.
Well, it has to be full blown for the doctor to do anything.
Well, right.
When I took Gabriel in for pneumonia, I knew it was coming. 12 hours later, we were back at the doctor, because the previous day, I'm like, yeah, not bad enough. 12 hours later, we're back there. Oh, yeah, pneumonia.
Yeah.
So, you're better off doing something else.
Yeah.
On those capsules, I was just going to let you know that I will typically keep a stock of those, and so then I'll use my oils to make the capsules if it's more convenient
You're
at
talking
home.
about these.
Well, yes, I'll make my own, and then I'll use those for times that either I don't have time or it needs to go with me somewhere, because you can't mix the pre-capsules and they last, they'll just gel up.
But you'll have to buy, I mean, it's the thieves. I think this is pretty cost effective, honestly.
Well, it may be, but I'll always have the oils.
Yeah.
But I'm always afraid that Clark's gonna need a bottle, and it's just easy to throw that in there.
Yeah.
So, that's what I do. And I keep all the other ingredients too, but
Yeah.
it is a great option.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. Panaway is another blend of oils, and I think it used to be called Panaway a long time ago.
It did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's got wintergreen and helichrysum, which is an odd sounding oil that is highly potent. It reduces inflammation and swelling, relieves discomfort from arthritis, sprains, bumps, bruises, muscle spasms, cramps, sciatic pain, growing pains. Supposedly improves circulation and decreases bruising. Helichrysum is anti-inflammatory and reduces muscle spasms. Scott might be interested.
No, is that what you made him a sample of?
No, but I can make him a sample of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was actually thinking of the Copaiba too for him, that might be. So that's not, the Copaiba is not in the kit, but you can buy them,
So this would be good for restless leg syndrome, that sort of thing? That's kind of
Restless, I would probably go with Frank
Yeah.
for restless leg syndrome because it's neurological. That would.
Yeah, I agree.
But would you talk about Panaway?
I have some issues, inflammation in my toes, and it's gout. arthritis, and it comes on just boom real quick, and gets really nasty really quick. And Liz gave me some Panaway, and I just put a little drop on there, and really within 5 minutes, the pain goes away. And from make you want to cry pain to the pain goes away. And at night, I put it on before I go to bed. In the morning, the inflammation's pretty much gone. This past weekend, I was gone for 3 days, 2 days, and I didn't have it with me. And I came back on Monday, and all of a sudden my toes hurt. So I took my boots off and looked at my toes. I took a picture of them and sent them to Liz. I said, "This is gross, but look at my toes." And they were just,
It was funky.
it was terrible, even with like an ulcer on top of it, just boom, real quick. And I put the Panaway on, and within, I probably took 15 minutes then, because they were so bad, and it quit.
Wow.
Wow.
What about fibromyalgia? My mother suffers from that, and every medication has a terrible side effect.
You
Fibromyalgia, they say, is an autoimmune. I would probably,
could look it up in our books.
yeah,
too.
but I would probably start with Frank for sure, because since it's also neurologically
Probably
based.
internally. I would do
Yeah,
internally.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the interesting thing. We got 2 more oils to go, and then I'll tell you a couple more stories. My story with thieves. I have a friend of mine who is a pharmacist, and Charlie and I. Charlie knows her husband, and we went out to dinner with them about a month ago. And Berkeley told me that Brielle, her middle daughter, who's like 12 or 13 years old, had mono. And bad mono. I mean, she said her glands were swollen straight down, and she'd been out of school for 2 weeks. And her spleen was terribly enlarged, and she was worried that her spleen was going to rupture because her glands were so swollen. And so I told her, I said, meet me the next day in McKinney, and I'll give you a roller ball of thieves. So I we met up, and I said, okay, use your roller, use it here, and then roll it down her spine. I said, do it 2 or 3 times a day. And I talked to her a week later. It was a week and a day later, 2 days later, and she had taken her back to the doctor that Monday. So it's been, it was Saturday when we saw him. Sunday, she started on Sunday, so it's been 7 days. She took her back to the doctor. The doctor said her spleen was of normal size and she could resume going to school. And I talked to Berkeley today. That was like a month ago. And I talked to Berkeley today, and both of her boys now have the flu right now.
Oh.
And she said, Brielle's been fine. She hadn't been sick at all. And I said, well, if you have any of the thieves left, you might ought to just put it on her so she doesn't get it. And she's like, I just honestly can't believe, she was going to come tonight, but because she's got 2 sick boys, she couldn't.
Yeah.
But she said, I just can't believe that she went from being that swollen to being cleared, not just to go back to school, but to go back and resume normal activities, because usually it takes the spleen a long time to go down in size, so you don't have to worry about your spleen rupturing if you're in volleyball or sports or something. So
Cool.
I was kind of grasping at straws with the thieves with her, and there wasn't really anything that really talked about mono much. And so, I mean, now I know if somebody has mono, that's a go-to for sure. I mean, because normally with mono, you just wait it out, and sometimes you have to wait a really long time. I mean, like months. And she said Brielle's not even tired.
Really?
Yeah, like doesn't have the fatigue that usually accompanies mono. So anyway, she's very interested.
That's neat.
And she's a pharmacist too, by the way. We did Panaway. Did we
I
do
don't think I
this?
smelled Panaway.
I'm sorry, I'm behind.
I was listening.
Panaway is the only one because it's got wintergreen on it. It's got a safety cap on it just in case some little kid decided to eat it. Wintergreen can have blood thinning properties.